All right, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a company sitting right at the crossroads of critical environmental infrastructure and the cutting edge of the green energy transition. We're decoding the complex, high-growth story of Enviro Infra Engineers Ltd, or EIEL for short. Now look, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill construction story. We're talking about a massive strategic transformation. We're looking at exactly how a company that used to be viewed as just a regional wastewater contractor has aggressively pivoted to become a true national green tech powerhouse.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to take a journey from the qualitative business hype to the hard quantitative chart realities. We'll hit their strategic green pivot, the twin-engine business model, that massive order book boom, break down the fundamentals, and finally navigate the technicals.
Empowering Green Planet. That's EIEL's mission, and it really sets the stage for everything we're about to uncover. It's no secret that the world is facing an unprecedented water crisis, and India is right at the epicenter of this challenge. You've got rapid urbanization clashing with depleting freshwater resources, meaning efficient water management. It's no longer just an option, it is a critical national priority. And EIEL is stepping right up to solve this exact problem, while simultaneously engineering a huge entry into the high-tech renewable energy space.
And to put the scale of this into perspective, 4,600 crore rupees. That is their absolutely massive order book as of April 2026. This is contracted, highly visible revenue that gives them a solid runway for the next 24 to 36 months. And honestly, this figure right here explains exactly why this stock is aggressively capturing so much attention from both institutional and retail investors right now.
All right, moving into Section 1, a strategic green pivot and how they're solving India's dual crisis. To really wrap our heads around EIEL's trajectory, we've got to look at the macro stage they're playing on. The story here is driven by an incredibly powerful, multi-decade tailwind. Think about the government's Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0. It strictly mandates the 100% treatment of liquid waste in both urban and rural areas. That is a colossal undertaking. But EIEL is fully capitalizing on these central government schemes for funding, and they've successfully leveled up from a localized player into high-growth priority markets, places like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Bihar, Telangana, and UP. By doing this, they've grabbed a massive 15% market share in their specific sewage and wastewater niche. You can kind of think of them as literally building the kidneys of India's developing cities. That brings us to Section 2, the twin-engine business model, where water execution meets clean energy.
So here's how this twin-engine metaphor really works. For years, EIEL's historic core focus was super concentrated. We're talking 80 to 90% of their revenue coming straight from water and wastewater EPC projects. But they realized something huge. India's massive expansion of renewable energy is going to require some serious storage capacity. Enter the new frontier, battery energy storage systems, or BESS. They launched this in early 2026, and this highly lucrative segment is aggressively projected to hit 20 to 25% of their total revenue within just 2 fiscal years. That fundamentally changes their entire growth and risk profile.
Now, obviously, they aren't the only ones playing in the sandbox. They're up against heavyweights like VA Tech Wabog, Ion Exchange, and EMS Ltd. So the crucial point is, how do they actually win? Well, they stand out with an execution-heavy yet asset-light model. While a lot of competitors focus mainly on just licensing technology, which honestly can really drag out project delivery, EIEL self-performs a huge chunk of the core engineering and construction work themselves. This discipline is huge. It results in way faster turnaround times and much superior margin retention. It's simply a faster, more cost-effective way to get the job done.
Moving on to Section 3, the order book boom, building trust and expanding horizons.
Let's break down the timeline of exactly how they racked up that massive 4,600 crore figure we highlighted earlier, because the momentum here is honestly staggering. Early 2026, they officially launched the Renewable Energy and BESS segment. Boom. By March 2026, in a single month, they secure 1,481 crore in new orders. A significant chunk of that was a major deal with NTPC. And this is absolutely critical, because landing that deal validates their ability to compete at the highest possible levels of green tech. It's practically a gateway to multi-gigawatt public sector opportunities. Then, by April, the total order book crosses that 4,600 crore mark. And today, their strategic acquisition of PRA Bihar BESS officially marks their operational entry into the energy storage space. They're not just out here bidding on projects, they are actively acquiring and executing.
And this brilliantly illustrates how this massive growth trajectory is reflected directly in their ownership structure. We are seeing a remarkably high promoter holding of 70.19%. That level of concentration is a massive signal of internal confidence. It proves that management's interests are completely tied to their external shareholders. I mean, they have serious skin in the game as they navigate this huge expansion. If we peel back the layers on the quarterly shareholding dynamics, we can really see the broader market's growing trust. Those promoter levels, rock steady. Meanwhile, we're seeing really healthy retail participation hovering right around 21 to 24%. It just reinforces the whole narrative that as this company evolves from a regional player into a multi-vertical national platform, the investor base is stabilizing and buckling in for the long-term transition.
All right, let's get into the hard numbers. Section 4. Breaking down the fundamentals, the objective data reality.
We've talked a lot about the narrative, but let's see if the pristine balance sheet actually backs it up. 102%. That is their 5-year profit growth CAGR. This figure totally blows the broader engineering industry out of the water, and it is living proof that their execution-heavy model translates directly into high profitability.
Next up, we've got a 26.8% return on equity. This metric shows us that the company is incredibly efficient at generating returns from shareholder funds. Couple that with operating margins that are consistently hovering between 20 and 22%, which, by the way, is exceptional for an EPC player, and you've got a business that clearly knows how to protect its bottom line while scaling up rapidly.
But perhaps the most crucial financial metric on the board right now is this: 0.13. That's their debt-to-equity ratio. It is literally almost zero. It proves management is funding all this explosive growth and scaling up that massive order book without over-leveraging their capital structure. By keeping it this conservative, they maintain incredible headroom to finance future operations, maintenance projects, or even scoop up more acquisitions down the line.
So when you put all of those efficiency metrics into the blender, you get this kind of revenue trajectory. Last fiscal year, they had a massive 44% jump in revenue, hitting 867 crore rupees. But look at the target for FY27. Management has put out some highly ambitious guidance here, 2,000 crore rupees. Backed by their core water segment execution and those massive new NTPC storage projects, this is a target built on actual contracted reality. It's not just wishful thinking.
And finally, Section 5. Navigating the technicals, looking at base building and price action.
Stepping away from all that fundamental data for a second to look at pure market sentiment, the stock is currently going through a really necessary phase of tactical stabilization, or, corrective consolidation. Basically, after a massive post-listing run that drove the price up to a multi-month high of 306 rupees and 40 paise, the shares pulled back to find some equilibrium near a low of 134. What we're seeing right now, with the price hanging out around 188, is a classic base on base or cup with handle phase. The stock is simply digesting its previous gains, shedding the speculative excess, and building a firm, fresh technical base before any potential continuation of a bullish trend.
To give you some solid objective data to bookmark for your own charting and analysis, let's impartially map out these exact zones. The immediate resistance ceiling, which is basically where we've been seeing significant profit taking, sits right between 208 and 227 rupees. The bulls are going to need a high volume breakout there for more upside. Then you've got the central battleground, which is the key pivot at the 50-day moving average, right around 186 rupees. Below that, we have our immediate robust support forming the foundation of the current base between 170 and 178 rupees, with a wider underlying structural floor sitting down near 150.
All of which leaves us with this final, provocative thought. As a company that so perfectly merges the vital, ongoing national mandate for wastewater treatment with the absolute explosive emergence of the domestic battery storage market, is EIEL the ultimate enabler of India's green transition? Look, with a 4,600 crore order book and truly exceptional fundamentals, the macro potential is undeniable, even as we always have to keep in mind the inherent technical risks of the broader market. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this deep dive gave you a clear, structured understanding of EIEL's big pivot. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring.